And now, in studio, bringing his Midwest values from the Show Me State to the land of San Diego. He's a triple threat, licensed as an attorney, mortgage broker, and a top producing realtor who's crushing the competition. Here to deliver you what's happening in the trenches of the market. Your host, Michael Gaddis.
Welcome to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of michaelgaddis.com and frontierloangroup.com. And I am here every Monday night to talk about anything and everything related to real estate. And for those out there that would like to get in touch with me, it's very easy. You can either contact me by visiting my website, michaelgaddis.com or frontierloangroup.com. You can call my office, or you can go to my Facebook pages. I have a Facebook page for both frontierloangroup.com, and I have a Facebook page for michaelgaddis.com. And I have YouTube pages, which is what I'm doing right now. If you were in the studio, you'd see there's a camera there, which I'm waving to right now. So if you want to check out what it's like to see me in action, you can go to my YouTube pages, and you can watch the show in person. So anyway, I want to start the show today by talking about reverse mortgages. And I know I talk a lot about them on this show, but they are becoming more and more popular. And part of the reason why they're becoming more and more popular is because it's a quality of life that they represent. I mean, they really do provide people with an increased quality of life. But you know, as I talk to more and more people about these, and I start, listening to people who have objections about reverse mortgages, and I'm always open to that because I'm open for a debate and a friendly debate about what they believe to be the pros and cons of the product. But one of the things I'm realizing is that a lot of the misconceptions related to reverse mortgages originate from how we are brought up. We are all brought up a certain way and thinking a certain way about lending, and reverse mortgages are reverse that. And not to use the same word, but they are different, and it's a different way of looking at it. And sometimes it's hard for people to conceptualize what is really occurring, and sometimes it takes me a long time to sit down and really communicate with them and say, hey, here's how it really works, and here's why you're having a problem with it. You're having a problem with it because you were raised to believe. But let me give you an example. I know a lady who lives up in Compton, and this woman makes about $1,300 a month in Social Security. That's all she makes, $1,300 a month. So, but she lives in a house that's worth about, I'd say, $520,000 or $30,000, and it's almost paid off. Okay, so she's got a lot of equity in her house, but she doesn't have hardly enough money to survive on. So she is literally almost at poverty level as far as income is concerned in California. So she doesn't get to do a lot of stuff, yet she's sitting on a lot of equity. And this woman is 81 years old. So she's 81 years old. She's barely making ends meet, but she has a lot of equity in her house. So basically she's house rich, but cash poor. That's what she is, house rich, but cash poor. So, in her situation, a reverse mortgage is almost a no-brainer because, it's one of those things where I think she owes about $75,000 left on her loan. So some of her loan payment's not huge because obviously she doesn't owe a lot, but she still, she doesn't make a lot of money. So even though her loan payment isn't huge, in relation to how much money she brings in every single month, it is a lot of money. It's a big percentage of what she brings home. So that creates a problem. So she doesn't, she's 81, she's still in very good health, and she's very, very sharp. So, she wants to travel, she wants to go, she has all these things that she wants to do, which is nice because she's looking forward to a lot of things, at least in her mind, about what she would like to do. Unfortunately, she can't afford to do them, or so she thinks. So a reverse mortgage is one of those things that allows her to basically live a quality of life that she might not otherwise be able to live. But here's the problem. Society tells her you cannot do anything with your house because you're going to use up all your equity. because a reverse mortgage uses basically the equity of your home to make your house payments for you, and you can get cash distributions from the equity. So the good side is you can live a higher quality of life. The downside is you're going to be using some of your principal balance is going to be getting bigger each month. Now, you can offset that principal increase by the appreciation in the house. I mean, you can't count on that, but appreciation in the house will counterbalance any type of deferment that you're doing through payments. But I think the bigger thing is that the line of credit possibilities in a reverse mortgage are pretty fantastic. It is one of the most fantastic features of any loan product I have ever seen. So she can establish a very, very hefty line of credit with a growth potential, very high growth potential. So basically what she's doing is she's recapturing a lot of her equity loss through her line of credit. And she can actually use the money that she's gaining every year on her line of credit to help pay for her travel that she wants to do. And she can still keep that line of credit intact and just let it grow. And so I think that, for her, literally, a reverse mortgage will transform her life. Her life will go from not knowing where she's going to, if she has enough money to eat this month, to being able to have the freedom to do what she wants. Now, I asked her, I said, well, one of the big things about reverse mortgages is people say, well, what about my children and things like that. Well, I asked her that, and she says both of her children are grown and they're doing very well for themselves. She says, and they also don't help her at all. I mean, they know that she's kind of in a tight situation, and she goes, she loves them and they love her, but they've never made any type of offers to, hey, look, Mom, can I help you out? Can I do this? Can I do that? So she's like, look, I got to look out for myself. She goes, God willing, I got another good 10, 15 years, she said. So, and I have to agree with her. At some point, you have to look at life that way. You're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170, The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of FrontierLoanGroup.com, and we're talking about reverse mortgages. And I wanted to tell you about, what I told my mother. My mother, at one time, I recommended a reverse mortgage to her, and her initial inclination was no. I've heard a lot of bad things about those. But I told her, I said, Mom, let me tell you something. I said, number one, I'm your son. Okay? I would never tell you to do something that I didn't think was not in your best interest. I really wouldn't. I said, number two, I help people in California do exactly what you need. My mom lives in Kansas City, Missouri. So I said, I help people in California that come to me with your exact situation. Number three, I'm an attorney, and I've read the provisions of the reverse mortgage up and down, backwards and forwards, and all the way around. There's nothing in there that's detrimental to you or your estate. I said, number four, I said, I assume I'm a beneficiary of yours. I'm not going to presume that I am, but I assume that, I might have an interest in your estate. And number five, Mom, and I said, most importantly of all of these, I don't do reverse mortgages in Missouri. I have no financial interest in you getting a reverse mortgage, and in fact, I have the exact opposite. So I'm still strongly recommending it to you. And she goes, wow, I never thought of it that way. She goes, but what about, I'm like, let me cut you off. You're going to say, but what about us kids, right? All of us kids, and you're afraid you're going to use your equity and there won't be equity left. That's what you're afraid of. I said, let me ask you a question, Mom. When I have 5 brothers and sisters, actually 6, because we had one grow up, but basically, so let's say 6 brothers and sisters. And going forward, when we were back in high school, we all went to private school. My stepfather's an electrician, so I don't even know how he got the funds to do this, but we all went to private school. So I asked my mother, I said, Mom, when I was in high school, you paid for all of our high school, right? She goes, well, of course. I said, well, that was pretty expensive. She goes, well, yes, it was. And I said, then when I went to college, I said, you helped out as much as you could, and the same thing in law school. You didn't have much, but you gave what you could. Is that right? She goes, yeah. I said, Mom, what if you would have taken all of that money, and instead of doing that, you would have let us go to public schools? I said, then you could have taken all that money and you would have put it into an IRA or some other investment account. Would you have more money for retirement right now? And she says, well, of course I would. And I'm like, look, you don't owe me when you're alive and when you're dead, Mom. I said, you've already done more than you need to do. You don't owe me another dime. I said, you need to look out after your best interest at this point. And to be honest with you, I hope you guys live to be 120, 25 years old. I hope you set the Guinness Book of World Records for living the longest life in the world. I said, then at that point in time, there might not be any equity left in your house because you've lived there for so long. I said, I would be perfectly okay with just giving the keys over to the bank. But I assure you, there are other ways that you don't have to worry about that. And then I explained to her about the line of credit and some other things. So the point of this conversation is that you really need to open your mind up about reverse mortgages, and you really need to look at how can they help my quality of life or one of my loved ones or my family members' quality of lives. How could one help them out? Now, I'm not saying it's the perfect solution for every single person. What I am saying is that you need to keep your mind open and see what it has to offer to see if it can help them. Because right now there's so many people that are just, their minds are shut to it, and it's a shame because they're living, it's really sad when you see how some of these people are living. So I just encourage everyone that knows somebody who might qualify for one just to keep an open mind and talk to the right person, of course, someone like myself, somebody who really understands reverse mortgages and that really can try to apply them to the specific set of circumstances for a client. So, because everybody has a different situation, so you have, and reverse mortgages can be applied in many different ways. Well, anyway, after the break, I want to come back and tell you why, even if you have a reverse mortgage or you know someone that has a reverse mortgage, you should really, really strongly consider having them evaluated to see if they can refinance it, because you can refinance a reverse mortgage, and it's just like winning the lottery sometimes. So you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170, The Answer.